Almost forgot about the music in the house.
Oh, that's right.
We can get a lot of reverb on that, and it can get pretty loud. So we are live. We are recording. Live's kind of a tricky word because we don't post it until a couple days later, but you good to go?
Yes.
Awesome.
Sir.
Well, then we're just going to get started. Everything's ready to rock.
All right.
So I am here. This is DeeAnna. This is episode 6, maybe 7, I think, of the ParkerCAST. So we started this January of 2025, and we are here on a super warm, sultry day outside, right? A balmy 23 degrees. Maybe by now it's even a little bit colder. No, I appreciate you coming on such a cold day. A little bit of snow we had this morning, but that didn't stop us.
No, I'm so excited
You're
to be
so
here.
very excited. Well,
by the way, I love your family.
Oh, yes. Yeah, my for those of you listening and have met them, my folks and my wife and everybody kind of, I don't want to say swarmed, but they definitely got to you quick and made you feel welcome. So that's nice. I'm very proud of that, and thank you for saying that. And you're here with a little bit of family.
Yes.
A single member. You want to kind of
Yes.
introduce or tell us who's in the audience?
My awesome husband, Brian Krier, the whole reason why there's a Baker's Ribs.
So let's get right into that. So I'm here with DeeAnna Krier and her husband, who together own Baker's Ribs. So I want to talk a little bit about your journey, but let's first talk all about Baker's Ribs. So tell me a little bit about, for those of us who don't know, the when, the where, the how long we've been doing this, where we've been doing this. I think we got an anniversary coming up. But
Yes. Well, Baker's Ribs originated in Dallas, Texas, and it's Brian's uncle, Joe Duncan. He's the founder.
Okay.
And it's been like 40 years ago, okay? So Dallas has a lot of Baker's Ribs.
where was there a first one?
Yes. It was, one was on Northwest Highway, but the real one that got famous was Deep Ellum.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But there's Garland, Mesquite. He had Rowlett and Canton. He had lots of locations, but he's narrowed it down to the top 3. Downtown Dallas and Mesquite and Garland.
So right now, currently, we got 3 in Dallas.
Yes.
And then 1 in Weatherford.
Yes, 1 in Weatherford, which is ours, Brian and mine.
Yeah.
And then there's, Tracy. Tracy owns Greenville, Texas.
Oh,
What was her name?
Greenville. All right.
Yeah,
okay.
in Greenville.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
very good, very good. So let's come back to Baker's Rib. Let's start a little bit about your history, because there's history in here. So we just talked about Baker's Ribs in Dallas, and now we're expanding out here. So
Yes.
How long have you guys been here in Parker County?
On March 1st, it'll be 25 years open, but we moved here on February 14th, Valentine's Day, year 2000.
Oh.
And we slept on the floor because our furniture wasn't here yet.
Excellent.
And that's how we, chimed into
DeeAnna moved
Weatherford.
here from where?
Dallas.
Oh, okay. So are we a Dallas born and raised girl?
So I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Brian was born in Dodge City, Kansas. But, somehow we got to Texas in our younger years.
Dodge City. Does he have any 6-shooters?
He probably does.
Probably back in the day. So we came from Kansas and Nebraska.
Yes.
How did we meet?
So in Dallas, I had a marketing company called Mercer Events and Promotions. I started that when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
So I was running Deep Ellum as like the executive director of the Deep Ellum Association.
Okay.
And I met Joe Duncan at Baker's Ribs. And he asked me if I would just help out once in a while. Like, my best friend got a job there, and so then I started catering, like, on the side. Like, I didn't need a job. I was just doing it for fun. But really, I think it was a God appointment because he wanted me to meet Brian.
Nice.
But the dealio about Brian is Brian doesn't like to talk. So for a whole year, he just looked at me. He just stared.
That could be a good thing, too.
Yeah. So guess who had to make the first move?
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So that is, I don't want to get down modernity or what's going on now, but that is actually I have 3 daughters, and I've kind of told them all, it's not the 1920s anymore, sweetheart. If you see a gentleman that looks like somebody you'd like to maybe have a date with or have dinner with, go up and talk to him. You got to make the first move now. I think that's becoming it's an odd time we live in, but I think that's kind of becoming a little bit more the norm.
because we were already older, in our 30s. It was time for us to get going. A whole year had already passed.
Yeah, and staring at me is good, but I mean, let's take some action here a little bit. No, I get all that. That's pretty great. So how did the whole so we're in Dallas.
So we're in Dallas.
We've met. Valentine's Day is Weatherford, so we're not even at there yet. We're
in Dallas, I couldn't tell you the day we met, but or even the year. Sorry. Somewhere around 1994.
Ish. Okay.
Right.
Good.
So anyway, so we were in Dallas, And then, of course, we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, right away. You know how it is. When you know, you know.
Okay, how long? I might want to do a little competition here with you. So right away we got married. Well, right away I got married. How quick did we go from meeting to the altar?
Well, we were engaged 6 weeks after our first date, and then we were married a few months,
I'm gonna
7
lose
months.
this contest. Okay. I was engaged like 7-8 months and married like a few months. Okay, so
Well,
yeah,
we were
all right.
talking through the Spirit, when we were staring at each other. So we already had everything figured out.
Gotcha. You had been courting,
Yes,
visually courting.
right. So
For
when
a
we
while.
told people we were engaged, they're like, "What? It's
Gotcha.
only been 6 weeks."
Okay, so when do we get the idea for Baker's Rib? How did that happen?
Okay, so we were working hard, but
You're catering or something?
yeah, I'm still doing Mercer events and promotions,
Okay.
so I'm all over. I'm traveling all over Texas, throwing events in San Antonio and Austin, all over. Still working at Baker's Ribs Catering, and married to my husband. And he had a 7-year-old daughter, so I was a bonus mom to Heather when Heather would come see us. And we were just living the high life. The Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. I mean, we were the official caterer for Bill Bates Cowboy Ranch, and we catered all
Bill
the time for the
Bates. Remember
Cowboys.
Bill Bates? That
Yes.
Was he
I mean,
number 40? I don't remember Bill Bates. Yeah.
And
He
so
was
it
great.
was a real high, right? But it was also a very, very fast pace, like constant, fast pace, fast.
Oh, wow.
And Brian, he's a subdued man.
Okay, slow and steady wins the race.
He's quiet. He's reserved. He works really, really hard, very hardworking, but he doesn't like that fast pace. Now, I loved it, but he didn't. And then, Heather was there, and then all of a sudden I started wanting to have a baby or something, and I was like, oh. So then he goes, well, let's tell Joe that we don't want to live in Dallas anymore.
Okay.
So Joe Duncan actually found our location. It was a Coulter's that had only been in business for 6 months, but the building was brand new.
When you say the Coulter's,
It was Coulter's Barbecue.
oh, it was a Coulter's barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh, so that location right now is what we call a second gen, right? It's a second generation.
Yes, right, because it was Coulter's for 6 months. That's
Yeah.
right.
Which in the restaurant world is an advantage. There was some things set up. I don't know.
It was no,
you
it
know,
was all
like-
decorated.
Yeah, decorated and okay. So that was a Coulter's for like 6 months. You guys moved in.
Moved in. We didn't know anybody,
Okay.
not one person. But our realtor, Jamie Bodiford,
Oh, I know
it wasn't our
Jamie,
realtor,
yeah.
actually it was Joe's at the time.
Yeah.
Because we were just moving in and,
Yep. No, Jamie's great.
And so Jamie actually was calling me and inviting me to like lady events, like maybe it was the Republican Women or maybe it was some society of something. And I was driving from Dallas just to go and meet Jamie Waterford, and then she would introduce me to people. And then we met Tammy Gazzola from the Weatherford
yeah.
Chamber.
Yep.
And so they actually did our grand opening party. And so suddenly, even though I thought I had no friends, suddenly I had multiple friends.
Isn't that? Talk to me about that, because I've opened a few places here in Parker County, and it's weird how the networking in the restaurant industry is so important. Like you would think, just make good food, which can work too. I mean, there are individuals that keep to themselves; they make a great product and they do well. But you got to kind of network,
Yes.
and when you network and you're genuine about it, people reciprocate. You go to an event at their place, they host an event at your place. I think our town is small enough, although growing, where that networking is so very, very important. Talk to me about that. How'd you get it? Because you have a pretty good marketing, networking.
Right. Since Mercer Events was my profession, God told me everything is through prayer because we believe in God and we
course,
follow
love it.
Jesus Christ, and I'm in the Spirit, and Brian, we walk by the Spirit.
Love it.
And God said, I was actually kind of sad too, though, because I love Dallas.
Okay.
And remember, Weatherford 25 years ago wasn't like it is today.
No. That's about exactly when I
There was
moved
no
here-ish.
shopping
No.
malls. There was no restaurants hardly.
Here's your barometer. Where was the Weatherford Walmart?
It had just opened across the street.
Okay, so there's like this odd line of demarcation. You're either like old school Weatherford, or you're a newcomer, depending on where was your Walmart. If your Walmart was across the street, where I don't even know what's there now. It used to be like a Maverick Gym, then a Tractor Supply still there.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the Walmart.
Right. So there was nothing.
I never knew that. I'm a newcomer. I knew the Walmart across the street.
Okay.
So yourself too?
Yeah,
Yes.
just barely.
Just barely.
Just barely.
I know. I don't like it. It's like 25 years, but Ashley Conlon used to give me a hard time about that. She's like, that's not the Walmart used to be across the street.
So I was sad, and I was telling God, like, God, we moved out here. I don't really know anybody. There's no shopping malls. There's no fashion.
No fashion.
There's no, my kind
We
of.
have fashionable people.
Yes, we do.
But there is no fashion. That is true, yes.
And not like Dallas. Dallas.
No, I do, yes.
Remember, we also were caterers for the Cowboys.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of high society, having fun with that.
Oh, I was really having fun. Deep Ellum, it was real fun. Plus, I'm just a really outgoing person. That's how God created me.
Sure.
And so I was a little bit sad. And then Brian was working open to close, so I was home alone a lot. So, yes, I would go to these events, but I didn't really know the people, so I was getting to know them. But God told me, why don't you bring Mercer Events into your restaurant? So he said, just start doing fundraisers and start connecting with your community like you did in Dallas. Do the exact same thing you did in Dallas, Texas, or in Austin or in Houston, wherever you went. Just do the same thing, only make it in your location, your building. That's why you wanted a building. You're owning this business. You're going to own the building, which we do own the building now. But, do that and be happy.
And don't you think there's something beautiful? I've noticed it with some of the ones I opened. We're very lucky to be in a small enough town where I think some of the minutes and the hours and the days that we put into these events pay off sometimes more than in a big city where you're white noise. You get lost in the shuffle sometimes. If you owned a single baker's rib in downtown Dallas, I think it'd be tricky to make connections. You just hope that the volume of people is enough to provide you business.
Right.
Here, you can make connections. We're just small enough, or not big enough yet, where you can really get to know everybody.
Yes, and that's what happened. We connected sincerely, like you said, with all the different charities in town or different organizations, Rotary, Lions Club, the animal shelter.
Oh, yeah.
Patsy.
The owners here at Northside, they're huge into the animal shelter. That's like a big passion of theirs. So, yep, that's something we know a lot about, and we try to help and donate there as much as we can.
So, and when I got out in the community, the other thing I was doing, not only was I starting to get to know people, Dave Cowley helped us so much, I really got to know.
He sat in that chair not too long ago.
Yeah, I watched that. So we really got to know people better, and I started getting happier and more comfortable. I didn't miss Dallas so much. I didn't miss
When was this? Are we 2 years in? Are we 15 years in?
We're about a year in.
Oh,
it took
okay,
a
that's
year.
good. No, that's good. A year's not bad.
Yeah.
Looking
So,
back on it now, a year's not bad.
Yeah,
In
there
the
was
middle of
days
it.
when I wanted us to shut the doors and go back to Dallas.
Yep.
Because I was missing the action. Because Weatherford 25 years ago was mellow.
Yeah.
Not like today where it's bustling.
It is bustling. We're about to get a Costco.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Hudson Oaks, though. That might actually...
It's just right down the street.
Yeah, it might technically be Hudson. Who is getting the Costco? Might be Hudson Oaks.
It's on Bankhead.
Yeah, right there.
So, we're moving up in the world now.
We
So
are.
now Weatherford, Parker County, and of course I love it now. I mean, and have for a long time. So the best thing that happened, though, it wasn't just the restaurant or making connections or helping the community. It was we adopted our baby girl from right here by doing a little tiny fundraiser for a Place for Grace, a foster care home here in Weatherford. I did this tiny little fundraiser. I raised $453.
Okay.
And they all came to lunch, and then she had all these babies and kids, and she was a foster mom, right? And I said, I sure want to have a baby. And she goes, well, how about adopt? And I'm like, sure, I'd do that. Next thing you know, guess what?
Really?
Within 6 months, God gave us a baby. And I prayed for 5.5 years for a baby.
Wow.
And because I got connected with the community and stopped complaining about...
I was always under the impression that modern adoption is just a nightmare. It takes years years
It is.
But your story's pretty great.
And that's because God did it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it was
love
intervention
that.
from God.
Yeah.
Because he knew that I was still missing something. There, when you have that little sadness or loneliness, you're still happy with your career, you're happy with your town and your community, but you still have that little thing missing. Well, that was Hannah, and we needed to have her. And so God blessed us
How
with a
old
baby.
was Hannah at the time?
Newborn. We
Wow.
picked her up from the hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now she works at the restaurant. with her fiance. Yep.
Very good. With fiance. What's fiance's name?
John.
John. John's a good guy?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. No, actually, we're happy.
Okay. We can edit it out. No, I'm just kidding. John, sounds great. I can't wait. No, that's
so
awesome.
it's all good.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just interesting how life just got, if you just, you know, connect with God and connect with the people that talking to customers from, you know, driving all over or flying in from all over the world, you wouldn't know that right here in Parker County on Main Street, people come from all over and they tell us stories and we just connect with people.
That's great. And I mean, yeah, we bring in a bunch with the Peach Fest and whatnot, but yeah, in general, we're making quite a little name for ourselves. I mean, a lot of it, Taylor Sheridan's doing some great stuff. You know, in Hollywood, he's amazing. We all love Yellowstone and the new oil field movie. I forgot the name.
Landman.
That's right, Landman.
Are you kidding? We watch all the shows.
Oh, they reference Alito, like it seems like in every other episode. So they're just talking about Alito this and Alito that, which is Parker County.
Yes.
You know, if we're going to compete, we'll compete. But when it's on an international stage, Alito is part of the family. So
he does say Weatherford all the time in Yellowstone.
Really?
In Yellowstone, they always say we're in Weatherford.
Oh, especially when they does like a lot of the 4-6s stuff. When those guys are on the scene, they do talk about getting some getting some Weatherford stuff. So talk to me a little bit. So there's an obvious third guest in the room.
Okay.
And it's in our middle here. So we have I had Landon Basham on, and he brought a nice hat, and we talked about some stuff. And Stacy Lynch got me a beautiful mug. Now this isn't a gift, I understand it's yours, but so this is an interesting item to bring, and it's been sitting here the whole time. So what are we looking at?
Well, currently I won the title of Miss Achievement World 2025.
Congratulations.
After 3 years of trying.
Okay, talk to me about that. So 3 years. So is this is a what type of contest? Obviously,
right. So
it's a pageant.
It's
of
a pageant,
sorts.
and what happened was Dr. DeeAnna Lawrence started this, and she started it during COVID, during 2020. So she had to be a virtual pageant. Well, then it just kind of kept going on as that. And for people like me that own the restaurant and had a child at home and, you know, a young child at the time, and, you know, I still needed to be with her. Plus, Hannah was doing all kinds of things and traveling, and I had to go with her. So doing an online pageant a virtual pageant ended up being the best thing for me in the whole world.
So how do we do? So I most of my career is online education, and that's the college I work for, Tarrant County's online division. And, so I'm all about virtual everything. That's the world I live in. That's my career. I got to admit, I'm a little novice here. Online pageantry. So talk me through it. What would this look like?
Well, so you sign up.
Okay.
If you get selected, you fill out applications, you get chosen. And if you get selected, then you can go on and you represent Texas. So at first I was Miss Achievement Texas. And you just, you submit all kinds of videos, online papers, all kinds of interviews. And you have to have a passion and a purpose for community, education, and mentoring.
Love the
right? So
education.
the three pillars are mentoring, communication, and education. So you have to be involved in the community, which I already was. And so it just amplifies everything. The pageant amplifies everything that you're already doing and puts you on a world stage.
Wow.
And when I'm on this world stage, I meet people, and guess what? Some of them live right down the road. Like we were just talking about Alito.
Yeah.
Dr. Kella Price, who was Dr. Universe and Dr. Texas and Dr. North America. She was all of them. She lives right down the street. Now her son, James, is working for us.
Well, and you had said, I said I publish these on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'll attach them to this and that.
Yeah.
A lot of them are these connections,
Dr. World
correct?
Productions,
Yeah.
yes. So it's just an awesome way to take better care of yourself. Being in a pageant teaches you how to self-care. I mean, really self-care. How to care about others more than yourself, but you have to self-care so that you can care about others, and then just...
That reminds me of a lifeguard philosophy. So I taught lifeguarding. I was a certified lifeguard for a while, 20-some years ago. And like the first rule that the lifeguards get taught is you don't go into a dangerous situation. You have to take care of yourself first. You can't save anybody until you saved yourself.
Right.
And, I use that as a simplistic, there's a lot of analogies like that in world religion and other things. But the lifeguard philosophy, you can't save that person drowning if you don't know how to swim or there's sharks in the water or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I really had to learn to take better care of myself and care about what I was eating or exercise or just overall, good health.
Isn't
and
the food journey wild?
Yes.
So I taught, nutrition and health. That's kinesiology is my background. That's where there's some that's the lifeguarding and activities and swimming and stuff. So, but when I first started, I learned so much. I was supposed to be up there in the front of the room teaching the students, but I was teaching them just kind of what was in the textbook. And as soon as they start asking questions, this is 2003. I'm like, oh, I don't know. That doesn't match what's in the book. So I had to do a lot of self-discovery and self-learning. And the journey, we started going to Central Market within like a year of teaching nutrition at the college, because you realize I'm not eating that anymore. Oh, and then the big thing, and this is what I always tell my students, it's not about me per se, even though the self-care is huge. When we really changed our lifestyle is when we first had a child. Because I realized they don't feed themselves. Whatever our daughter put in her mouth, whatever baby food, cereal, ice cream, soda, which we don't do, we're buying it for her. So, like, that's the big one. Like, I can go to McDonald's if I want. I'm a grown man, but I can't bring my 1-year-old to McDonald's. That's, no. Not talking bad about McDonald's, but,
Right.
the nutrition, the rabbit hole of nutrition is a wild one.
Yes.
And it's ever changing too. I've gone keto and carnivore and a bunch of different stuff. And there's friends that have gone vegetarian and vegan, the direct opposite, but which is blood types compared to food style. There's so much different stuff that's
Yes,
into it.
I know it all.
Yep. And it's wild that none of it really is in line with the food guide pyramid. None of it is in line with basic pharmaceutical advice. So that's the only tricky thing. And we're not going to go down that rabbit hole here, but no, the journey of self-discovery with nutrition is one I recommend everybody tries to go on. Sometimes you try and fail, but learn as much as you can. And it's
also to love yourself. And what the pageant also taught me was be free to be who I am. Like, I'm very creative. I'm very talkative. I'm very outgoing. And that's okay, right? Like, I don't have to change for somebody. I just have to be. I'm very Latina. That's my that's who I am.
That's who you are.
Right? My mom was born in New Mexico, and my dad was born in South Oklahoma. So I'm Native American, and I just have everything in me. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a style to that, and there's personality traits, and I just learned to love to be me. And through that, this was through the pageant. Now I wear what I want to wear. If I want to wear a beautiful dress and high heels at Baker's Ribs, I do. And if I don't, I don't. It's just whatever.
Yeah, it's great.
I just want to be me.
No, it's great. It's good.
And,
I love it.
And then the other thing about the pageant is, like I said, it connects you with people, and they're your neighbors. Not only neighbors in Africa, South Africa, or wherever, neighbors like down the street. So I met Kella, and then I met Lisa Northway, and she lives 2 hours away in Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma, at Fort Stills, and she introduced me to the Parker family. And that's how I'm going to have this event coming up on Saturday, April 26th at Baker's Ribs.
Saturday, April 26th at Baker's Ribs. The event is Meet
the Parkers.
The Parkers. Meet the Parkers.
They're
and this is in reference to Quanah.
Quanah Parker. So these are the two people are my guests. Trevor Wardlaw, and then Tina Mhula. She's the Comanche Indian side, and Trevor lives somewhere in East Dallas. Anyway, they're going to come to Baker's Ribs, and they're going to tell all about their family, the Parker family. And they're the fifth or sixth generation of, Quanah Parker and Cynthia Ann Parker. They know everything. They have huge family reunions in East Texas. They're a part of the Sons of the Republic and Daughters of the Republic.
Well, Quanah Parker's an amazing story. I mean, this is internationally or at least nationally known. I believe he's the last, right, or the son of the last Comanche chief, or he was the last Comanche chief.
So I don't like to talk about the history because I don't know it. That's why I'm going to invite everybody to come to Baker's Ribs. It's free. There's no admission or anything. And we're going to be out on the patio. And they're going to be there just talking to people. They're also going to have a microphone so they can talk, a speech, so to speak. But then they're going to be there for people to... There's so many fans. They came to the restaurant twice already. And people will hear us talking about it. And Jamie Bodiford, she's definitely part of this, and Judy Flanagan and Marsha Brown from Parker County Today. They're all helping me with this event. And it's casual. And what I was saying is they all came to eat the other day, And people overheard us just talking about Quanah Parker and DeeAnna Parker and all this. And people were getting pictures with them and started telling them, oh, I know the history, and oh, I read this. And, the Doss Heritage and Cultural Center, they have all the information there, too. It's fascinating who you meet.
Well, and I was telling you off camera, I was like, I used to go biking, and I still hike and jog at the Quanah Trail. And that's a lot of people don't know about it. It's right on Lake Weatherford.
I didn't even know about it.
It was right on Lake Weatherford. There's this huge. It's one of the parks of Weatherford.
And Taylor Sheridan is going to be doing some big story on Quanah Parker.
Really?
Yep. I think a series.
Yeah. No. It's. Yeah. I wish I remembered more of the history. I'll have to come to Baker's Ribs. I know, like Quanah Parker's mom was like a captured white woman.
Yes. Cynthia.
And then Quanah didn't have the Native American genes. He had some of the European genes, and he was huge. He was very tall, very big. He was this massive figure, and that's about probably where I'll stop, because I don't want to get the history
either.
I don't want to get the history wrong on it,
Right.
but it's something that we should all know a little bit more about, because it's very local. The Good Night Loving Trail is local. That's great. We know a lot about that. Lonesome Dove, etc. This is something I don't think as many know about, and it's really just as cool, just as awesome, and it's known throughout the country, especially in some of these subcultures and subcommunities.
It is so fascinating when you hear these people talk, and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's history. How did we become Parker County?
Right. That's right.
It's because of them. It's
Yep.
because of the descendants.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah.
And then Baker's Rib so that's one event going on at Baker's Ribs. But as we finish up here, what's the other event at Baker's Ribs? You talked about an anniversary, but that's a big. What's the
25th anniversary is March 1st, Saturday, March 1st.
Saturday, March 1st, 25th anniversary.
Yes.
Quarter century, Baker's Ribs, same location.
Same owners, not divorced.
Same owners. They have not been divorced. March 1st. That's great. Anything going on? Any specials on the 1st?
Well,
Are we going to
we're
have some
hopefully-
balloons?
Well, maybe. We have in the past. But really, we're focusing on our new decor, because we kind of, it was real bright, and, because in 2020 it was kind of, everybody was sad because it was locked in. So I put in these outdoor lights inside. So it was really bright, and for a while it worked. But then as the years pass, everybody's like, wow, your light's so bright. It's like so bright. So then I go, I want to make it warm and cozy. So it's new year, new vibe, 2025.
A new
warm
unveiling.
and cozy. And then
Very
we painted the walls. We put new dim lighting up. We're changing the way we put the food on a tray,
Oh, really?
And we're changing up the way we
we'll
serve
we'll
it.
come out.
And the best part is we're changing up the bar area and making it really nice, really comfortable. We got new TVs.
Well, Dan, as we finish up, this is our last 15, 20 seconds. Words of wisdom. This will live on forever. This is the digital age. What do you got for somebody who stays all the way to the end?
I want them to be their authentic self and love themselves.
Love it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.